Hey guys, welcome to our channel. In this video we will talk about 10 anime with overpowered main character, and we tried to find some not popular one. Let's get started.
Glory Story.
Number 1, Luck and Logic. In the year LC 922, mankind faces an unprecedented crisis. Following the conclusion of a 100-year war on the mythical world of Tetraheaven, the losing Magians sought a safe haven and invaded the human world Sepia. The government is forced to fight by employing logicalists belonging to Alka, a special police that protects the streets from foreigners of another world. Logicalists are given a special power that allows them to enter a trance with goddesses from the other world. One day, Yashichika Tsurugi, a civilian who is lacking logic and lives peacefully with his family, meets the beautiful goddess Athena while helping people escape from a Magian attack. She wields the logic that Yashichika should have lost. This leads Yashichika to an unexpected destiny. But Athena, the future of the world depends on the luck and logic in these logicalists. Luck and Logic to me is one of those series that knows what it wants to be. And that it is not supposed to be all that groundbreaking in any sense. It's a nice small show that is heavily cliched, with entertaining action and extremely easy to follow. Plot story. Speaking of story, there's not much to go on about here. Good guys defend the city from bad guys that come through these gates from hell or something like that. Sprinkle all of this with personal dramatic character plots. Each character gets an episode, and top it off with the biggest bad they have to fight at the end. Like I said, easy to grasp. Number 2, God of High School. The main protagonist is Jin Morai, a 17-year-old martial artist from Seoul, South Korea. At the beginning of the story, he is invited to join a martial arts tournament called the God of High School, or Go. The event, sponsored by a shady corporation, brings together people from high schools all over South Korea on a regional and then national level in order to select 3 representatives for the world tournament. As a prize, the winner gets his wish fulfilled by the hosting corporation. No question asked. This intrigues Morai, and as he continues through the tournament, he meets many competitors, each with a different way of fighting. Martial arts aside, participants fight by using borrowed power, a mystical energy granted by supernatural entities, gods, demons, mythical creatures, hence the name borrowed power. During the opening rounds, he comes across 2 other martial arts prodigies. Full contact karate expert Han Dae-wai and apaist master Yu Mira. These 2 would befriend Jin Morai after their fights with him and will become teamed together as the Korean team after the preliminary rounds. As the tournament's preliminary rounds finish and teams assemble, plans for many different people within the organization and those pitted against them begin to make their moves to achieve their goals. Number 3, Tower of God. Tower of God centers around a boy called 25th Bam, who has spent most of his life trapped beneath a vast and mysterious tower with only his close friend, Rachel, to keep him company. When Rachel enters the tower, Bam manages to open the door. He is faced with tests that he takes in order to see Rachel again. The tower. In the manhwa, the tower is a mysterious structure that is completely enclosed and hosts many unique environments. It is permeated by an element called Shinsu, which has strange properties similar to magic in other comic universes. It is inhabited by many different intelligent species. Living on the top floors is associated with a higher status in the tower and better living conditions. This is because ascension from one floor to the next is only allowed by passing increasingly difficult tests of strength, dexterity and wit. Regulars are any individuals from the outer tower chosen to climb the tower in the inner tower. Former regulars who reach the top of the tower are known as rankers and are generally much more powerful than others. Rankers are often put to work administering the lower floors. At the top of the tower sit the 10 great families, which form the governing body of the tower. A figure known as King Jahid is the chief leader of this body. Each floor is composed of 3 layers. An external outer tower which serves as the residential area, an inner tower where people are tested, and a middle area which acts as the network linking each floor. Residents of each floor are given the chance to ascend, provided that they are deemed worthy of doing so by Hedon, the first floor's guardian and caretaker of the tower. Such people are referred to as chosen regulars in Tower of God. The tower is sealed from the vast unknown outside by portentous, impenetrable doors. On rare occasions, extraordinary people are able to open the doors and enter the tower. Such people are called irregulars in the manhwa, and protagonist 25th Bam is one of them. Number 4, El Hazard. The magnificent world. When Makoto Mizuhara discovers an old monument in his school and awakens a beautiful woman, he, his teacher, his worst enemy and one of His female friends is transported to the magnificent world of El Hazard. There they discovers that they have received special powers. Makoto and his teacher Fujisawa land in the jungle and save a princess from very large bugs. Makoto's friend Nanami lands in a desert. And Makoto's rival, Jinai, lands in the middle of the bugs kingdom and becomes their general, plotting to destroy Makoto and his new friends. After having his attacks repelled by Makoto several times, Jinai learns about an ultimate weapon, the demon Eye Furita. Everyone sets out to find it, and when they do, Makoto learns that she is the same woman that sent them to El Hazard. But the one gaining control of her is Jinai. Number 5 Beelzebub. Ishiyama High is a school populated entirely by delinquents, where non-stop violence and lawlessness are the norm. However, there is one universally acknowledged rule: don't cross first-year student Tatsumi Oga, Ishiyama's most vicious fighter. Any day, Oga is by a riverbed when he encounters a man floating down the river. After being retrieved by Oga, the man splits down the middle to reveal a baby, which crawls onto Oga's back and immediately forms an attachment to him. Though he doesn't know it yet, this baby is named Kaiser de Emperana Beelzebub IV, or Baby Beel for short, the son of the demon lord. As if finding the future lord of the underworld isn't enough, Oga is also confronted by Hildegard, Beel's demon maid. Together they attempt to raise baby Beel, although surrounded by juvenile delinquents and demonic powers, the two of them may be in for more of a challenge than they can imagine. As you can probably tell, Beelzebub is a show that doesn't take itself too seriously, and this approach works very well for the story being told. The main characters, particularly Fiorucci, seem aware that they part of a show that routinely sets them up with ludicrous scenarios, as if to test their reactions, and they are not shy about calling out some of the more preposterous elements that arise. Characters also address the viewer directly, which adds a nice touch of humor to the show, while making the situations more relatable. I found this approach more satisfying than one where we are asked to accept ridiculous circumstances at face value. The show has a lot of heart and can also be surprisingly creepy at times. These are demons and the underworld we are dealing with after all, but this never lasts for very long, which is a pity because I think the show would have benefited from playing up the darker themes for longer periods to counter the otherwise jovial tone, which becomes a bit tiresome over a 60-episode arc. Still, the show maintains enough originality to entertain, and the delivery of punchlines remains top-notch for the most part. Number 6 To Be Hero. For Uncle, a lecherous but handsome toilet designer, it is just an ordinary day of neglecting his duties as a single parent to hit on women and talk about his superpower. His ability to tell a lady's hip size at a glance. But when he is sucked down into a toilet, the Space Peace Republic Alliance Hero Committee gives him real superpowers and he becomes the hero of Earth. There is only one problem: he has become an ugly, unrecognizable fatty who is unable to reveal his real identity. Uncle's beloved daughter Min-chan does not believe that such a vulgar fatty could be her father and casts him out of his own home. Distraught and homeless, he joins up with his perverted neighbor Yamada-san, a small man with a fondness for streaking, and sets out to convince Min-chan that he is her father. Full of sexual innuendo and slapstick humor, To Be Hero follows Uncle as he befriends bizarre allies and combats even more bizarre foes, fighting for the future of Earth against aliens and more importantly his future with his daughter. Number 7 Sacred 7. Alma Tandoji lives a lonely life. One day, Ruri Alba, a girl accompanied by her butler and maids, visits him. Knowing the power of Sacred 7 is latent within Alma, she asks him to lend her his powers. However, he refuses and drives her away since he injured many with his unusual strength in the past. Meanwhile, a fiendish dark-stone creature suddenly appears in this peaceful town in the Kanto region. Only Alma's power of Sacred 7 can fight against it. But Alma just lets his power run amok and things begin to get worse. Ruri raised her gemstone in order to release his true abilities. My soul I give to you. With Ruri's wishes engraved in it, will Alma be able to defeat the Dark Stone? Number 8 Quality Code. The story takes place in a world where humankind is at war against an enemy called the Unknown. Children who were evacuated to a cold sleep facility during the invasion by the Unknown several decades ago wake up from their slumber and learn that their bodies developed supernatural abilities called World in order to protect Japan from the Unknown. Emerging from the Tokyo Bay Gate, the boys and girls wage battles for the defense of the cities in the Kanto region: Tokyo, Yokohama, Kanagawa, and Chiba. Number 9 Zetai Karen Children. In the future, people with Spanish pesetas are becoming more widespread. These people, known as espers, are able to use a wide variety of abilities. However, require training to be able properly control them and integrate into normal society. Unfortunately, there are also espers that abuse their powers and wield them to destructive ends. The Japanese government solution to both challenges is the establishment of the base of backing Spanish Pesetas Laboratory (BABEL) for the purpose of appraising, identifying, nurturing, and protecting espers, even if that means apprehending them as if they were criminals. Number 10 Scry.ed. The series is set several years after the Great Uprising, a future geological phenomenon in Kanagawa Prefecture near Tokyo. These people have developed a power known as altar where they create weapons. The number of altars rises steadily as the series progresses. There are two opposing forces of altars. The native altars, a group of altar users who live outside the central city and avoid any relationships with the government, and Holy, a subgroup of altar users in an organization called Hold. Hold functions as the mainland government super police force of the Lost Ground, while Holy, composed exclusively of altar users, serves as the special operations group, aiding it in performing dangerous missions that might require the help of an altar user.